Okay, Mike, and you're live in 3, 2, 1.
Your New England Patriots are back where they belong in the Super Bowl. Woohoo! If you are drunk, stupid, and a Pats fan, you have come to the right place. This is Patriots Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
The coast is Billy. The whole world's gone to hell, but how are you?
How are you, Mike?
How are you? Super!
Thanks for
Asking.
Pretty good.
I couldn't be faster.
Some would say feeling super.
Yeah, I'm super.
Feeling a little super.
Are you super?
Feeling super. Thanks for asking, buddy.
Oh, how could you feel anything less?
Thanks for asking.
Woohoo, I'm super. Because the Pats are in the Super Bowl.
Again.
Yes.
Not a bad thing, brother.
What's up, Patriot Nation? We are coming. You are looking live at the AFTERBUZZ Studios. Alongside Denny Harris, I'm Mike Conley. This is Patriots Wrap 360. Hey, Denny, why don't you tell the people how they get in touch with you?
Sure thing, brother. You can find me on Twitter at Deehaas, DEEHAAS. And yourself?
Still not on social media, but, you know, whatever. Anyhow.
You know what? It's not whatever.
Okay. We'll talk offline.
Yes.
We want to jump right into Patriots talk. First thing is we want to talk about. I do want to throw a little nugget out to folks that might be following along with us live. You can hit up Denny on his Twitter if you are, or you can hit us up in the YouTube chat room and you know, tell us what you're thinking, or if you want to steer our rudderless discussion in a different direction, we'd appreciate it. But I did want to say that today is the 30th anniversary of a special something that has to do with someone in Patriot Nation. So a very pivotal somebody in Patriot Nation. So let me know what you got on that. January 25th, 1987. What happened on that day? So think about that and remind me, Denny, at the end of the show to let you guys in on
All right.
this. All
Will
right.
do.
Anybody catch
Do my best.
Roger Goodell on the Colin Cowherd show? The
Honored.
Herd. Honored.
I caught him.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he'd be honored to hand the trophy to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He'd be honored. Are you buying that at face value?
You know, I don't really buy anything that guy says.
No.
You know, I think that's one of the reasons he's in his position, because he can kind of BS with a straight face.
Right.
You know, he can just lie right to your face.
He's like a politician in that way. You know?
Oh, yes. I'd feel better if he was in there. Anyways, we're not going to go off on that tangent
Nope.
because we're super. Thanks for asking. We wouldn't,
Thanks
we
for
wouldn't
asking.
want to change anything like that. But it was interesting. And he kind of said, you know, because he did ask him, and that was good, like why he went to Atlanta 2 straight games.
Right.
Oof.
You get
You
grilled
know?
on it.
He did. But he did say like 2 years ago he came to the divisional round and the championship round.
Right.
But it's like I don't know.
What's your anger level on it? Are you beyond it? Are you still pissed? Do you feel like him not coming to New England is putting salt on the wounds or stirring the pot? Or
I'm pretty much beyond it. I mean, I hated talking about the Deflategate, and we just
Right.
want to bury it like we did on this program
Right.
and just not talk about it at all. I wanted to, you know, just kind of put it on hold until hopefully, you know, the
Right.
trophy thing happens, and then just see what plays out.
it is amazing how far we've come though, where Pat's Nation is just getting fired up, thinking of all the multiple ways that they could handle receiving the Super Bowl trophy before the game's even played.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with you though. I'm pretty much over it myself. I feel like, I mean, it's already been addressed, beaten to death. It's not like he hasn't given any statements, even during the process of the Deflategate stuff. He was saying, you know, Tom Brady's a class act. Essentially, Goodell was paying lip service to it. He's a great kid, or whatever he said at the time. So,
Yeah, the lip service I want to hear is I was wrong.
I don't think we're gonna hear that
Yeah,
ever. So,
Of course, never will.
yeah. So,
Never will.
as far as that goes, you know, the sweet revenge will be.
Guys that make
Taking
$44
that
million a year don't admit being wrong.
This is true.
In fact, guys that don't
Ideal way to do that?
400,000 a year. You know. Yeah.
400K, baby.
Hey Anthony, will you turn down your microphone for me, brother? We can hear you in here.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. And if you can get that any larger, that'd be dope.
Fantasy stats
Because I'm
guru.
kind of blind. Oh, you'll read them, Denny. Thank
Yeah,
you.
hey, there you go. Only one more game, he's saying, which is definitely the truth. Hopefully, many more games for TB12 and Big Bill. But
Yeah.
One more big game.
One more big game, 2 more shows for us.
There you go.
Boom.
No big deal.
We don't take bye weeks. We'll be here next week. We'll be looking real in depth at the Super Bowl breakdown on that. But today we really want to just sit in the glow of being AFC champions once again.
It feels nice. It feels nice.
Man.
I want to say unofficially it's 44% of the years that Tom Brady's been in the league, he's gone to the Super Bowl.
Crazy.
7 out of 15 years. And I don't know if that's including
Insanity.
Is that subtracting? I think it is. It's not including the year that he missed.
I would say no.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Fantasy Stats Guru is with us calling BS on Goodell. He's just putting out there what he thought needed in order to save face.
You're right.
It's what these political types do, you know.
I want to thank Dennis Harrison
Yes,
for
no
getting us up
relation.
on the right foot,
I got a few texts and
pulling the old fire alarm.
yeah, Dennis Harrison. That is not. If I were to have an alias, I'd
Right.
like to think it would be a little more creative than that.
Exactly. That seemed like one of those like last minute. I shouldn't give my real
Yes,
name.
Dennis
type
Harrison.
John Cocktoaston, definitely a Fletch move. But, I mean, we as Pats fans, we'll stop at no bounds. I mean, I hope there's some Atlanta fans trolling us, okay? Because we will stop at nothing, okay?
Right. Kind of lost in that. I feel like I've read that Michael Floyd also stays on the premise on the premises at Gillette as well. Right?
Is there a hotel there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he says he's 3 minutes from the thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just thinking maybe that's why the guy was the healthy scratch on game day.
That was good. I mean, we were speculating on that, how that was going to go down, but
Yeah.
he was indeed the healthy scratch because we have had Mitchell back and Hogan back, so that was good. Not dinged up. Well, they're a little dinged up, but
But who isn't this time of year? Am I right?
Let's get into this game a little bit here.
Bet.
So, Pats, interestingly enough, win the toss and elect to take the ball.
Yes.
Kind of a little shocked by that.
Yeah, I was having a little bit of a flashback to last year's AFC Championship, and a little worried. I was sending the worried text immediately, like,
Yeah.
it seems strange.
You're such a warrior during the game.
I'm a worry. I am. I got the sweatiest palms of any guy that's not on the field or actually impacted by the game, except emotionally, for sure.
Of course.
To the core. But I was surprised. I was a little surprised. I mean, it's just a weird thing to me, regardless. When you do something 90% of the time, or more than that, probably historically. I mean, the dude has really set a trend in the NFL. The dude being Bill, on deferring and trying to get the double dip, as he says. He loves to try to get that ball back in the second half. If you're up, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
But curiously, the 2 times that you can recall that he's done it are the last 2 AFC Championship games. Last time it didn't work out so good. This time worked out pretty good, but would have loved to see them hang 7 on that first drive. It felt like they left some points on the board on that first drive.
No question. I mean, I was like spinning yawns in my head when they took that ball. Like 12 went up to Bill and was just like, I want the ball. You
Yeah.
know, and he's just in that laser focus mode that he was in like his midweek press conference. And he's just like, we're
Yes.
going to go down here and score. And like, oddly enough, the Pats have not trailed in a game since week 12.
It's unbelievable. Yeah,
Is that insane?
It is. It is.
I mean,
hopefully they can keep that trend going. Not to get ahead, but I think both the Steelers and the Falcons are built to play with the lead. So they're not the type of team that you want to be playing from behind. Not that any team prefers to, but they're not built really to handle that either. So
it's true.
I thought it was
The
interesting.
Pats
though,
also prefer to play from behind.
Yes, I mean,
ahead.
who doesn't? Who doesn't? But we do have that. We got the weapons to get back in the game and the old 12 under center. Not that I'm biased at all, but I thought it was nice that they came out, did execute, and they came out, something I kind of missed from the days of yore. They came out firing, up tempo, 4 wide receiver sets, some wrinkles that, like I was reading, I forget, somebody had an article today breaking down just how seldom they've used the 4 wide receiver sets this season. That was pretty interesting, and that's one of those things that I don't want to say no other team can do it, but very few, and certainly Pittsburgh is the opposite example, where these guys are who they are week in and week out, and the Pats are like, hey, that look that we gave you all season? You're not going to see that. We're just coming at you. All of a sudden, we're coming at you Chip Kelly style. who knows? Maybe that was influenced by that little meeting.
They did have a little meeting.
You know?
I smell him coming aboard as a consultant.
What? Yeah, you know.
You know, I mean, I think
Brain power.
it's the same thing they did with Lombardi. I mean, I believe that Chip is still getting paid by the Niners, right, to be our consultant, same as Lombardi was getting paid by the Browns.
Sounds like a good deal all around.
And then once he wasn't getting paid by him, we were like, all right, peace.
Hey man, thanks for everything.
Why don't you go to the NFL Network?
Go send some tweets about how Jamie Collins sucks.
Yeah, we've rung all your. Jamie Collins, by the way, inking a new deal.
Not bad, yeah.
4 years, $50 million, 26 guaranteed.
Did all right for himself.
Yeah, he's with the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, man.
You know, I don't know if that was quite like the Kuechly contract that he was looking for.
Yes, probably not.
Allegedly.
Probably not.
But
who knows? Maybe he'll have a, change of heart, become a team guy, which we're going to suspect that he wasn't while in New England, because I can't figure out any other reason that he got shipped out.
But yeah, I mean, I love the way the Pats started off. It's like there was some no huddle. Sometimes they were huddling, but they still went quick. And they were like, snapping the ball with like 15 or 20 seconds left on the play clock.
Right.
And that was just like obviously what they intended to do in the game plan. And game plan specific, baby.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin doesn't have that in his head to do.
I also was encouraged, too. They came right out of the gates and targeted Marty, which I thought was cool. I mean, he wasn't targeted heavily throughout the game, but it was nice to see him come out of the gates, hit Marty. Jules had a big catch. And then Malcolm had a drop on
third
that first
down.
drive, which was a little worrisome.
Yeah, because we were in the red zone, goes right off his hands, had to settle for 3 on that one. We were marching it down their throats.
Right. And as kind of fantasy stats guru is bringing up now, if the Floyd Malcolm thing, you think, last week you had some drops from Floyd, and then this week you got Malcolm with a couple of key drops. Now what do you do? I know our buddy, our staple on the Twitter sphere too, Amar Singh, was asking the same thing. Like what comes of, if they're assuming they're both healthy again in the Super Bowl, do you think one or both or neither will be a scratch?
I think Floyd will be the scratch again.
Another scratch again, yeah.
I do. Just because of the fact that I think, Bill feels more comfortable with the guys that have been there all year. There's just more stuff you can do with them. And I mean, that's no knock on Sleepy Floyd. I mean, the dude, he's just only been here a month.
Right.
So.
Certainly, yeah, the advantage goes to Mitchell. But it'll be interesting to see. I for one thought that they might have a package or two with your boy Sleepy, maybe some red zone looks since he's a big body down there. But who knows, man? I mean, from week to week, anyone's guess is as good as the next guy with these Patriots.
Yeah, it was so great.
Do you think if the Pats were to play the Steelers again this week, that Tomlin would maybe consider putting a body on old 15? Because Hogan was open often, early, all day.
He was.
Ridiculous, yeah. I mean,
if I had told you at the beginning of Sunday that there's going to be 2 wide receivers in the league, in the remaining teams playing, that'll have 9 receptions for 180 yards and 2 TDs, you could probably guess Julio Jones was one of them.
Right. I don't think many of us would have guessed that kind of day.
No.
For old Ben.
A career high.
More power to him.
Does it on the big stage.
More power to him.
He's the open man, and that's why 12 gets him the ball.
It was pretty impressive. I did hear after, I want to say it was the first TD to him, he was so wide open. I want to say that Brady has even said, like, he saw him, saw how open he was, and didn't believe it, looked away, like, figured there's somebody over there, like, and ended up coming back to him and hitting him, and he was still open.
Yeah, are you surprised at all that Pittsburgh played a lot of, like, rushing 3 and then, like, dropping back in zone? That's like a death sentence to play zone against Brady.
I'm kind of baffled by their approach. Again, like we've talked about it, and again looking at sort of the history as opposed to the feeling that I have about Pittsburgh, which they're kind of just in great contrast these days because Brady has just owned the Steelers in his career, and shockingly, certainly in the Tomlin era, regardless of the two, both Butler and LeBeau, I mean, these guys do what they do defensively, and they get scorched by Brady, and they don't seem to adapt. It's kind of strange, dude.
maybe
It's a little strange.
Maybe Terry Bradshaw is kind of right about Tomlin. Maybe he's
might
just
be.
a cheerleader.
Hey.
But I mean, the guy's been coaching like 10 years. He's gone to 3 AFC Championship games. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that would take that. I mean, not everybody can be Bill Belichick.
This is true.
Who is now advancing to more Super Bowls than any other head coach in history. His 7th as a head coach.
No big deal. 10th overall, right?
Is it nine overall? I think 2 as a coordinator. And
Either
with
way, I
the
thought it was
Giants.
10, but hey,
maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 10. Maybe someone will correct
2 with the
us.
Giants, right?
2 with the Giants.
1 with the Patriots under Bill Parcells,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
D coordinator in
Well,
96.
no, was he the D coordinator or was he in Cleveland?
Yeah. I don't know, Tim. Either way, maybe stats, fantasy stats guru knows the answer to that.
I mean, he's chiming in.
We shall see.
It is a discussion of 3. What was kind of the story of the game is the Pats being unbelievable on 3rd down conversions. You know?
Right.
I mean, that was huge. And not all of them were like gimmies and stuff. There was some 3rd and 10s in there. And, they just, outside of the first 2 series, they converted, after those, 11 of 13 3rd downs.
Pretty good,
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, and it felt like something that I was kind of keeping an eye out for after the situation the week before with Houston. Pittsburgh did kind of bring some pressure up the middle early, and they had a little bit of success with it, but that sort of went away. I feel like the O-line definitely adjusted, improved on. I mean, certainly the talent level is not quite the same, but
Yeah.
the O-line certainly had a much better day. And Brady, a few plays, Brady had just had all day. Great protection. The guys did a good job. Hopefully they can do the same.
It was good protection. I thought, the Pittsburgh kind of helped us out and like not rushing that many guys
Right.
a lot of times. And then, also like when they did, I think the backs kind of helped with that in the middle.
Right.
That middle rush that was such a pain last week
Right.
in the Houston game. So
There was that one play early on where old Tooney got just smoked again, and Brady got kind of crushed by Hargrave there through the middle, but
but
the old-
he gets up.
Olay. Just to watch that bull go by him.
Yeah. Talk about sweaty palms.
Yes.
I do want to say one thing about Hogan because, I think he's kind of like the Dion Lewis of this week's game, where, all his catches, they weren't really old sticking to the hands.
Right.
He
Yeah,
has a
that's a good
lot of
point.
bobble in a catch. So lucky that guy flies like the wind because he can get the separation to make that kind of ball. Even on the flea flicker, that didn't really stick.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, he had 3 or 4 of those where
And he had that drop on that screen later in the game too, where
drop on a screen, and then he dropped a touchdown pass on our last field goal. That could have been a touchdown.
yeah, I noticed that as well. I mean, I thought that screen could have even been a TD with the way he was playing, but yeah, I mean, definitely, we're able to nitpick a little bit, but you're right. I mean, it's with if there were a defender within a 10-yard radius of him at any time, they could have posed some problems. So,
Yeah, I really.
that approach of just leaving him wide open is
It's true. And like
problematic.
looking at that, I like my offensive MVP of the game. Well, it's probably Brady, but if I was going to a receiver like Edelman, he had some big
another
catches
pretty
on
good game,
3rd down. 8 catches, 118 yards, and they did get him in the end zone there at the end. So that was good to see.
Always.
But the guy is just so clutch. How about that audible?
Jordan.
And then he converted on that to Hogan for a 26-yarder. That was another one where he bobbled and caught it.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there with the old, whatever the hell that machine's called there, the old
Jugs?
Jugs, there it
The
is.
Jugs gun?
I was going to say balls machine, but
The balls
that's the
machine.
one I think is at your house.
That was a close second when they were naming that.
Jugs, balls, Jugs. Let's go with Jugs.
That 3rd drive was when Hogan, he was pretty quiet on the first 2 drives and then, came alive. He had 4
Right.
catches on that drive for 57 yards that ended in the TD.
Yeah.
That's the one where Brady was like, oh, my God, he's that wide open. This
Yeah,
is insane.
it was ridiculous. And then, that subsequent drive, I want to say, is when Bell first got dinged up.
Right.
Which, how did you feel about Bell?
Kind of soft.
Now, I'm not one to question a man of NFL. I am.
Yeah, you are.
But I try to give these guys the benefit of the doubt, but I mean, the dude, obviously he was dinged up, but it didn't At no point did it seem devastating. He's on the sideline. It wasn't like he went in to get an X-ray or something. You know, I mean, of all the days, it's like, man, there's got to be like a rub, a pill, a needle.
Yeah.
That's the AFC Championship game, brother.
It's pretty crazy.
It was a little weird, you know?
He came back in for one play and then couldn't go.
Yeah, I thought maybe he would do the little Marty Bennett, Hulk Hogan style, like, I'm back.
Yeah.
You know, Paul Pierce in a wheelchair kind of thing. But he didn't seem like he was that rip roaring trying to get back in there. You didn't see that. You know, who knows? Maybe it's 10 times worse than it appeared. But
I mean, I guess, you know, you are running back. You know, his game, shifty cuts. You know, splits out wide a lot.
Right.
You know,
I mean, it was questionable enough that we're all kind of wondering. Like, it just seemed like for lack of a better word, a little bit of a lackluster injury. It was sort of like, I guess you're not gonna get back out there. Or?
Yeah.
All right.
So you were wondering, I mean, the Pats, you know, BB's MO is taking away their best player. So, like, who's that going to be, Bell or Brown?
Right.
So with him, you know, hitting the bricks early,
right,
it was Brown. And he only gets 7 catches for 77 yards.
Right.
And there were reports where on the Williams touchdown, he was open and was pouting.
Little pouty face?
Dude, he never wear the red, blue, and silver with that kind of attitude.
You can't be pouting.
You can't be doing Facebook Live in the locker room.
Only Tom Brady's allowed to pout.
And you can't be pouting when your team
Right.
scores a touchdown.
Only Tom Brady's allowed to pout.
Yeah, well, he pouts and yells at people when things don't
true.
go bad. But, you know, when touchdowns happen, guys got to smile.
Guys banging heads out there, all right?
For real.
He's banging heads.
Huge play, okay, in the second quarter. And really, I think when the Pittsburgh's backs were broken was that play by Deron Harmon, you know, where Chung gets...
Oh, huge.
You know,
Huge
he's wrapped up Jesse James at like the, you know, he's got it, but it looks like maybe he'll be able to stretch it over for the touchdown. And
Right.
Deron Harmon comes in, boom.
Huge play.
Huge play. Because that
play.
puts it at like the 1 foot line. Originally, they called it a touchdown. Goes back under replay, rightly so.
Yeah.
And then a defensive stand, dude. Like for the ages.
It was for the ages. That was definitely a turning point, and I think a bunch of the players mentioned it too. Like, huge goal line stance, and just, I mean, the swing of momentum there would have been even bigger had the Pats then drove down the field. But, I mean, to hold them to 3 there, it was pretty critical, I would say, in the overall tone of the game.
Definitely huge. And like I was like to see like first and goal there, Shea McClellan coming in there and stuffing the run. I don't really see him as much of a run stuffer, but he came in and Hightower was in there too. And then second and goal, Valentine getting in there for that 3-yard loss, wrapping him up. And Tomlin had a great reaction after that. And that was like when he's like, we're not going to win this game.
Oh, yeah.
I like to think.
I love the play by Valentine. I mean, that looked like that dude, his highlight reel from college, like the read on him was that, inconsistent. But, I mean, that was the stuff you would see when he kind of flashes, the penetration and stuff. I mean, dude, he blew that play up. And it was huge. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh. So, and Tomlin's look was so priceless. You know, it's like that 50-yard stare he's always sporting, I guess, can see into the future, because he was like, this isn't looking good.
It wasn't looking too good, my friend.
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just going to say, I mean, so they went into halftime there, 17-9, feeling pretty good at that point. I was feeling pretty good. I thought, obviously, that was a great way to hold them up there. And then, like I said, unfortunately, the Pats weren't able to get a drive going there right before the half. It would have been nice to hang, a 3 spot on them there too. But either way, especially with the Steelers getting the ball back on the flip. But
yeah, they got the ball back on the flip, and then it went 3 and out.
Right, which was also pretty key.
Which was awesome. In their 2 previous playoff games this year, they scored on their first possession of the first half and their first possession of the second half in both those games. And in this game, 3 and out.
Not too shabs.
So that was awesome. And this Pats D, it's been kind of an under the radar unit, and I can hope they can stay that way for the next 2 weeks, which is literally impossible.
Right.
But this will match up the highest scoring offense versus the holding to the minimum defense.
Right.
And it's the 7th time that matchup has happened at the Super Bowl.
It's unbelievable.
Defense is 6-1.
No big deal. Not to
No
mention,
big deal. So hopefully,
not to mention those white jerseys. Not to mention those white jerseys.
Let's mention the white jerseys.
Go ahead, sir.
Pats will wear white in the
11
Super
out of
Bowl.
12, I think it is.
10 out of 11, I believe.
Either way.
10 out of the last 11. So either the colored jerseys are due, or we'll just keep it rolling with the white, is what we hope. So
By
that's
the
not
way,
a racist comment.
regarding the Belichick factor, fantasy stats guru and Max Michael Frechette coming with some correct knowledge, as I just looked it up myself.
Okay.
Bill Belichick was on the squad there as the secondary coach. Al Groh was the defensive coordinator.
That's
that year.
right. McCourty. He was McCourty's. No, not McCourty. He was Brewski's. No,
Brewski.
I'm just firing it all wrong there.
What are you coming with on that one?
I'm trying to think. I heard
An Al Groh bomb?
I heard an interview recently of somebody on that Pats team that was like, "Oh yeah, I really got to know Bill when he was my position coach." Who the hell was it? Maybe it was Ty Law. I don't know.
To Bucky Jones. I don't know. I got nothing. Honorable mention to Darnay Scarnecchia, the defensive assistant on that squad as well.
Whoa, that guy, he wears many hats.
He, not the total segue, by the way. He has a relative on the Falcons staff. Yeah,
Is that true?
I believe so.
I did not know that.
I'll look that up while we're
That's-
BSing.
That's a little connection. A guy that, doesn't show up in the stat sheet much at all this year, but I love this guy just because he's a team player, Danny Amendola, dude. He had a big first down catch on a third down.
Oh, yeah.
In the first half. And then, he also, his blocking. You talk about Edelman and Amendola. Oh, these guys are tiny, But the only thing that hurts them with is maybe their catch radius because they play like bigger men.
Yeah.
There's like a screen to Hogan, and it might have been the one he dropped, but he caught one as well that they just blew up. That was like a
Right.
third down conversion. These guys in there blocking like at the point of attack and then also like downfield is just
Yeah, I mean, to
unmatched.
that point, I think Amendola really, I think we've touched on it once or twice this year, but I think it's pretty awesome the kind of team player and the role that he's carved out for himself. I mean, a guy that kind of, signed a pretty big contract, has reworked it on behalf of the team and being a part of it, and kind of quietly, like you said, there's no pouting in New England. Obviously there's minor pouting that happens from time to time, but you don't see it from these guys like the Danny Amendolas of the world. They're out there, maybe it's 1-2 catches, but hey, if I need you on third down, do you have me? And the answer is typically yes, which is pretty huge,
Yeah.
Pretty huge.
If you saw this play in the third quarter, my boy, you know how I love me some Malcolm Brown.
No doubt.
When he just took the offensive tackle and threw him into the running back, and that
Right.
was the tackle.
It was pretty impressive.
That was sick.
Just some big, strong man play right there.
Oh, so good. Interestingly enough, the Patriots, for a little symmetry for you, the Super Bowl will mark the Super Bowl 51 will mark the 51st postseason game in Patriots history.
Is that ironic?
Here in their 57th season. So it was great. Were you surprised at all about the game plan that they kind of spread them out? Because they were so successful at running the ball in their meeting in the regular season. They ran for like 140 yards, I think, in that one. This one, 27 carries, 57 yards for the Pats on the ground.
Yeah, I can't say I was all that surprised anymore. It's kind of another analogy to last year's AFC Championship game. I thought for sure in that game, hey, it's Peyton Manning. And we were coming off a game where had some pretty good success on the ground. Thought it made sense to come out, pound the ball, keep Peyton off the field, and they come out instead with the opposite attack. And I think really the Pats, they don't ever, I don't think, set up their offense based on the other team's offense, as goofy as that sounds. They're gonna look at how are we best gonna attack this defense. You know what I mean? They're not, I think, even in the case of Atlanta, which I'm sure we'll get into, certainly more next week, but I don't think they're gonna let Atlanta's high flying offense in any way dictate what they do offensively, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to kind of have them attack with the same kind of game plan. I mean, you look, Atlanta's D kind of reminds me a lot about Pittsburgh,
Suspect.
Well, I mean, you look at their numbers and they look suspect, but I think they really kind of came together in the last
the
6
season
to
went on.
8 weeks of the season.
Right.
They are relying, much like Pittsburgh, on like 2 rookies in the defensive backfield. So when I hear that about a team, and I have Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and Josh
Yes.
McDaniels,
Start salivating.
I feel pretty good about that. As much as I like that Keanu O'Neal guy, I think he can be sucked up.
I heard a pretty.
Could we
I
see
want to
another
say it
flea
was
flicker?
one of the Boston guys. I want to say it was Paul Perillo. Maybe he drew the comparison to some of the old Colts teams, which I thought was interesting. In the Peyton Manning era, where they had that high-powered offense, defense had some weapons, had some speed.
Dwight Freeney.
But yeah, there you go. It all comes full circle. But Brady did pretty well against those Ds. I don't know if we're ready to talk about that stuff, but I feel more confident going into the Super Bowl than I did going into that Pittsburgh game. I feel like, again, until Matt Ryan proves it, maybe here's his chance to prove me wrong and all a bunch of naysayers. But this is the biggest stage. I don't think the Pats are going to completely stop their offense. I don't know that any team can, but I like our offense's chances against their D as opposed to the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I think that those naysayers, kind of have been saying that about Matt Ryan the last 2 weeks too. And he's kind of really put up great games the last 2 weeks. So.
Yes.
But our defense is a lot better than Green Bay's.
No question.
That's for sure. But I do want to say that Atlanta's kind of offense, it reminds me a little bit about the Pats, because the Pats really like to get that matchup of the linebackers out in pass patterns against the running backs versus linebackers,
right?
Out of the backfield.
Right.
Obviously doing that with Dion Lewis and James White, but they have a 2-headed monster as well that is great at catching the ball.
Right.
With Tevin Coleman and
Freeman.
And it shouldn't be a shock because there is that New England BB connection down there with Dimitrov and Pioli,
right?
And they kind of built the team very similar. Don't take running backs in the first round. They were able to get those guys in the third and fourth. So and they do kind of take advantage of that running backs on linebackers that I can't believe that everybody in the league doesn't do now.
Right.
The Pats have been doing it for 8 years.
Kid.
It's crazy. Yeah, seriously, forever. Kevin Falk.
I saw an interesting excerpt today, speaking of the connections, Dimitrov, et cetera, and it's Steve Skarnecki, as our boy Max pointed out, by the way. Yeah. Also, Steve Skarnecki had a hand in the Spygate stuff. He was, I want to say, the video tech at that time. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But where was I going with that? Dimitrov, yeah. So apparently, I want to say Michael Hawley's most recent book, there was an excerpt floating around on the Twitter sphere today from that book where Belichick apparently advised Dimitrov not to go all in for Julio during the draft. And there's it was kind of surprising. I mean, I haven't read that book yet, but it was very, if it was a quote from Belichick, or I'm sure it was, it wasn't his exact words, but it was pretty strong recommendation, hey, there's a lot of value at wideout this year. And kind of telling him, hey, man, basically
don't
being
fall in love
completely
with
wrong.
The stud at the top.
Yeah. And that,
kinda
a lot of
worked out for
what's
them.
proven to be true about Julio, he was suggesting that it wasn't. So either he was trying to, shift his boy a little bit in the wrong direction, or it's kind of a little bit of a show that maybe Bill doesn't have the best read on wideouts as it's seen at times. Seemed at times.
How about that run by LeGarrette Blount when he almost got in the end zone when the whole
Oh my God,
team
that was amazing.
came and it was like a rugby maul
Just
almost into the end zone?
It was 7 guys around him. And yeah, it seemed like if you look back at it too, there was only 1 or 2 Patriots behind him. That was just the big man moving that pile. I mean, that was great.
Insane.
It was good stuff.
And Tom Brady, no big deal. 32 for 42, 384 yards, 3 TDs. No big deal. He so that's his third 300-yard passing game in a conference championship. That ties him with Peyton Manning. He also tied his idol Joe Montana with his 9th career 3-touchdown playoff game.
Pretty good. And he's heading back to the Super Bowl.
And he'll be the 2nd oldest quarterback to play in the Super Bowl. The first?
The 2nd oldest.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton last year. You got it, baby.
I don't know if we're heading towards wrapping up, by the way, but don't forget about your 30-year anniversary question.
I will. We started a little late, so I'm going to borrow another 3 or 4 minutes.
Sounds good.
You know, Anthony will get in my ear.
Not always good. Not always good for a reminder, so I had to throw it out there.
Much appreciated. Nobody really came up with it. I might as well let the cat out of the bag. Belichick's first Super Bowl appearance as a coach,
Yes,
as
sir.
defensive coordinator with the Giants. So you knew that one.
I did.
No big
I
deal.
did.
How about Alan
no
Branch's dance moves?
Love it.
Oof.
By the way, direct related to that.
Mm-hmm.
During the game, I happened to notice in my man crushing on Alan Branch,
Mm-hmm.
his tattoo, and they kind of had a shot of him leaning over, and you could see this big A on his arm. And I'm looking at the screen, and saying to myself, it looks like that says Afronauts. Afronauts. Look it up. Him and his boys back in high school, I want to say, or elementary school, played on a hoops team, and then when in their downtime, they had a dance group called the Afronauts. How's that for a little Pats fan trivia?
That's the type of stuff you get here on Patriots Wrap 360. Woo! This is where people come for their
I didn't
midweek
think that guy
analysis
could get
of all
much
things
more lovable.
Patriots. That was awesome.
Afronauts.
So good.
That may very well be a Patriots Wrap 360 exclusive right
Oh,
there, right?
that's so good.
Afronauts.
I love that. So Brady, Peyton Manning, and Ben Roethlisberger have represented the AFC in the Super Bowl in 13 of the last 15 seasons.
It's crazy.
Pretty insane.
Pretty crazy, my
Pretty
friend.
crazy. So you gotta love that. Were you surprised at all with the Atlanta game that they were able to blow out Green Bay, 44-21?
Yes, I was. As I texted my good pal during that game, I said 24-0 at halftime. Just how I saw it coming. I mean, I figured, and I know you were on top of that as far as thinking that Green Bay's D, they probably had seen, they were in the twilight of the season, and I just didn't think it would be to that extent.
Yeah.
I mean, Matty Ice had a pretty big day out there. Julio did his thing. I mean, if anyone somehow lives under a rock and doesn't know what that guy's capable of, that one touchdown that he had is, dude gets open, hand fights, gets open, catches the ball cleanly, runs past one guy, and then just destroys another guy with a stiff arm, runs it in. It was like a 70-yard touchdown or something like that.
Is Malcolm going to get his shot at him?
I think he's going to have to. I mean, I think he
With
poses...
safety help, of course, much like Antonio Brown.
I think he poses a bit more of an issue than, with no disrespect to Antonio. But, I mean, Julio's a different beast. He's going to present... He's a big body.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to put Eric Rowe over there based on,
Yeah.
Though he did have another pick.
He did. He had the Duron Harmon closer pick.
He did. Another nice game for Logan Ryan, by the way, which has
doubt.
just been every
Had that
week
breakup
now.
in the end zone on that one.
Yeah, that was huge. That was on the second goal line stance, right?
Give us a hometown discount, please, Logan.
Yeah,
we want to
that's
see you
gonna
in
be-
the uni next year.
That's going to be interesting.
I did want to sneak in one thing, not Patriots related, before we get out of here. Just an attaboy to Brent Musburger. We kicked off the show saying, "You are looking live," and that's just a little bit of a homage to old Brent. Now, I
Hanging
mean,
it
just
up.
one of the greatest.
Absolutely.
We're losing a bunch of the greatest now. I mean, Vin Scully and Dick Enberg hung it up
Yeah.
in baseball, and now we're losing this guy, Chris Berman, in football, and Musburger in
Changing
football
faces.
and basketball. So changing faces. He says he wanted to emphasize he's not retiring. He's moving to Las Vegas, starting up a handicap company with his family.
Really?
That's
Wow.
what he was saying.
Hey, good for him.
I actually had I actually ran into him one time at a baseball game up in
Really?
Seattle, and
Shoot the breeze.
he was such a nice guy, dude. I had half a load on. Shocker. So I'm like hitting him up on like different games he called and like different like my favorite lines he ever had. And so he
stuff.
was just super chill, dude, and seemed like he really enjoyed talking to me. You
I'm
want
sure he did. He still hits you up, yeah?
Oh yeah,
He texted you directly
He's
before
lighting
he
me
wrote
up
the
during the
list?
show. I'm surprised he didn't chime in. He's gonna have more time now. Anything else before we get out of here?
Just Big Ben retirement? Question mark?
Oh yeah, how are you throwing that out there?
I guess.
What's
I don't
your
know if
take in
is
20
he being
seconds
a
or less
diva?
than that? Wicked diva.
Yeah.
Let me just answer for you.
Yeah, please
okay.
do.
This guy likes having his name in the news, and now he's got no more football to play. So how does he do it? He throws that bomb out there. That also, plus it's maybe a little bit of camouflage for what he said a couple days earlier when he was questioning the young guy's ability and stirring it up on his team. So
A little bit.
That guy, I mean,
Probably should turn some attention towards his coaching staff.
for real, what an ego.
I don't think they can get it done. I think we've seen it.
Let's keep him intact. Let's keep it rolling. Love that. All right, gang. Thanks for tuning in with us. For Denny Harris, I'm Mike Conley. This has been another edition of Patriots Wrap 360. Thanks for tuning in with us, gang. Go Pats.
Catch you later.
Catch you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.